Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 6 match preview. A nice early one on a Tuesday for you because we've got another Thursday game. And last time we had a Thursday night game, we got the Chocolates. This time, we're looking to get the Chocolates against the Doggies. It's a massive game. Marvel Stadium, 7:30 p.m. It's our first home game at Marvel for the season. I don't want to complain too much because I know our back end of the season, we get about 8 of the last 10 or so at Marvel, home and away, so it evens out, but it's just very weird that we really haven't had any sort of continuity at Marvel. We've played the one game against Essendon there, that was their home game, and then obviously we played the home game at the MCG against the Pies, which we did win, so it's a big game, and it's a big game for a couple of reasons. One, we want to bounce back. We haven't really gone consecutive weeks with losses under Ross for a while, so we generally bounce back pretty strong after a loss, and it was a very, very interesting affair against the Giants on the weekend. But the main talking point is our opponents, and it's the Western Bulldogs who were shocking against the Bombers. They've really not hit their stride this season, and their coach is in the firing line big time in Bevo. I've had my question marks on him for a while, but I'm going to park that for now. The game itself, it's I think 11th v 12, so we're both 2 and 3. Our percentages are above 100. The Doggies, because they've played a couple of games against easy kill teams and they've flogged them. For us, we've just been in every game, and we haven't really had an easy game. The Richmond game, supposedly on paper, was the easiest of all of them. Proved to not be that. Classic Saints footy, but we've been in every game. We could have been 5-0. We could have been 0-5 generally. So that's where we're at. There's a lot to take from that last quarter against the Giants, but we have to play 4 quarters, or at least be just consistent across the 4 quarters. I know a lot of people think, well, and I'm one of them, you can't play perfect football for 4 quarters because momentum shifts. The Doggies will get on a run, we'll get on a run. It's just a matter of our run needs to be effective and go for longer. So when we're on top, make it count on the scoreboard. And the Doggies have kind of leaked goals all season. Their defense is slightly undermanned. They're going to be without Liberatore in the midfield, which is huge because we all know that midfield's not really been our strength for forever. So anytime we play a team and they're missing a gun midfielder, that is very helpful. But having said that, they've obviously got Bontempelli, they've got Tim English in the ruck. Although a lot of their fans think that Tim English deserves to be dropped this week. Apparently his form, I haven't watched them closely, but apparently his form has been average. And you know what? If you want to drop him in the form that Rowan Marshall's in, I'm not going to stop you because Rowan Marshall is a match winner in this game. If he gets on top in the midfield like he did against the Giants, particularly the way he played in that last quarter, he had 16 clearances, I think 3 or 4 in the last quarter alone. That's going to go a long way to us winning the game. Our forward line mix might shift a little bit this week because Max King's under an injury cloud. He is cleared, but I think it's more just the tight turnaround, the 4-5 day break might not work for him. So we'll just quickly go over that. The club did just release an updated injury update. And the good news is Max King is a test, but I doubt he's going to play, to be honest. Lance Collard is a test. Paddy Dow, I believe, trained fully today. He's also listed as a test, so maybe he's a smoky to go into that midfield. Maybe amp it up while the Doggies lose Liberatore. Could be handy. James Van Air's a test. Max Heath, TBC. Hunter Clark, 1 to 2 weeks is great news. Ben Patton, suddenly 1 to 2 weeks. 3 weeks ago, he was 10 weeks. I love that. Matty Ellison, 2 weeks. Mason Wood, a big one, 2 weeks. Brad Crouch, 3 to 4 weeks, getting close. And Liam Henry, 3 to 4 weeks. So knowing those ones, they're probably going to be a test next week, to be honest. But that's very good signs. I think if we lose Max King, Max King in this team, despite what some people say, off the back of last week's performance, he is a match winner. He's a player that makes us better. I don't care what people say. You want your twin, you want your gun forward in just to take a man even, just to be a distraction. But it offers an opportunity this week. Do we bring in Dougal Howard and put Zane Cordy forward? Do we bring Jack Hayes in? Is it Jack Hayes week, Sainers? Would you bring him in? He's played, a couple of games, a game and a half at Sandy. They've got a bye again this week, so he's not playing. Do we bring in Jack Hayes and then he can rotate with Roma in the ruck? And that then means Rowan Marshall could potentially offer maybe 50% of game time in the forward line and he essentially replaces Max King. Could that work? And then Jack Hayes and him just rotate throughout the game. That means no Owens in the ruck, thank God. No Caminiti in the ruck, maybe pinch hit forward. And maybe Owens can then be afforded to play more midfield time. I think that could be something we could look at. It's going to be a very interesting sort of week at selection. Obviously, tomorrow night it'll be announced, and the teams at 7 p.m. live on Saints TV will be talking about that in more detail. But it's a game where I honestly, we are favourites, and I think we should be going into this with confidence. We are 2-3, but generally our fight, our desire, our want to get the footy and to win games is there. I don't think it's been there for the Dogs. I think that's the big question mark on them is, are they a united team behind the scenes? And a lot of people are questioning that, knowing we always go into these games when the other team, the opposition, is under the microscope and then they respond. It always happens. It's another week like that. When we played Collingwood, they were 0-2 or whatever. They didn't want to be 0-3. That was big news. Geelong, are they old? Who was at Essendon in round 3? The Essendon Edge, watch out, and then Richmond in round 4 losing Lynch and Bolter needed to respond. And then actually last week probably was the only time we haven't played a team that was under the microscope. If anything, they were just undefeated, and is this the week they're going to lose? And now this week, it's a team that potentially could sack their coach, and there's a lot of, there might be some clashes of egos and that sort of things behind the scenes. So never an easy game for the Sainers, but we need to win this because our stretch after that is then Port Adelaide. And you don't want to go 2-4 and then go to Port Adelaide in Adelaide, and go to 2-5 there potentially. So this is a game we need to win. It's a must win in my eyes. And I think based on who we've got on the park and based on just generally the way the two teams are playing at the moment, I think this works in our favour. I think it being at Marvel helps a lot. It just means we can amp up that pressure game. And if we can bring that pressure from the last quarter last week, I think that probably goes a long way to winning the game. The Doggies don't like it when you're in their face. They don't like it when the game's open. They do prefer to play that slow, methodical sort of possession game, and that's why they all get such high numbers. But outside of that, they're not really hurting teams going forward, which is a surprise because they've got a pretty stacked forward line. Obviously they've got Cody Waitman down there. They've got Norton. They've got Darcy. They've got Jamar Ugelhagen, who's been very good this season. Probably their best forward, to be honest. Their backline is where we can get them. It's not strong at all. And their midfield, I think it just relies so heavily on Bontempelli that if we just put a Windhager to him, or maybe Jack Steele goes head-to-head with him for some of the game, or they rotate, and we keep him to... it's hard to stop Bontempelli, but if it's just him and no one else, that's not enough to win the game. It's when he brings other players into the game, that's when he hurts you. So if we can keep Bontempelli on a bit of a semi-tight leash, he's probably going to get his 25 and a goal. If we keep him to that and it's not 35 and 2 or 3 goals, I think that means that we're probably winning the game. We've got the forward line to hurt them. We just need to get the mix right. We need a big game from Sharman if he plays. I think he's probably on the chopping block, and it's not his own fault. He's been thrown around from pillar to post. He's gone forward, wing, back. I want to see him forward this week. I want to see Membry have a big game. He generally gets up against the Doggies. Caminiti, whether Jack Hayes plays, I don't know. But regardless of how the forward line functions without Max King, I think there's enough firepower there to kick a winning score. Jack Higgins needs to lift. He did kick 2 goals on the weekend, but I think he's got more in his locker. And Dan Butler, he had 1 possession, I think, and 1 tackle on the weekend. And that's just not Dan Butler. We need more. We need more from him. And hopefully this is the game that can return him to that. Because his best form is always at Marvel under the roof. So hopefully that means a good return from Butler. I'm tipping us. I don't like really talking about predictions, but I'm tipping us, anywhere between that 2-goal to 5-goal range. I think it's going to be a interesting game. I think the Doggies are definitely going to try and take the game on. But on the flip side, I think that suits us, getting Naz, Sinclair, Bonner, Hill, who was in phenomenal form on the weekend. Ronnie Burns quietly doing his thing. I think we've got enough on the outside. And because Liberatore is out, I think that sort of evens things out on the inside, especially with the form that Jack Steele's in. He's back to that All-Australian form. Rowan Marshall's one of the best ruckmen, if not the current in-form ruckman in the competition. So we've got Steele, we've got Roma. If they can continue that form, and we rotate the likes of Filippo, Owens through the guts, Seb Ross, who's been pretty solid, I think there's enough there that we can probably break even in clearances, and that means around the ground I back us in to kick a winning score. So yeah, looking forward to this one, Sainers. Hopefully a decent crowd. I know it's a Thursday night game, so it's not easy to get to for a lot of people with work and driving in from afar. But if you can get down, the Dogs and Bombers got 50,000 last Friday night, so let's try and crack 35-40. I know that's probably ambitious. 35 would be very nice on a Thursday night, given that both teams are coming off a loss and not in the greatest of form. But we need to win this. We need to go to 3-3, and then we can reset, get some players back, and then go and tackle the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because we've got Port, but then it kind of opens up. You know, Hawthorn's in there, North Melbourne's in there. There's some winnable games there. So if we can get this job done, I think that will definitely assist us in getting to the bye, hopefully breaking even, and then after that, it opens up a lot of games at Marvel. We get players back. I think we'll be a big chance for making the top 8. Hopefully top 6 if we can pull our finger out just a little bit. We're going at about 60% capacity, I reckon, at the moment. I think we've got plenty of room for improvement. So on that note, Sainers, comment your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking about the game in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to 11,000 subs very soon. On that note, I'll wrap it up there, Sainers. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go Mighty Sainers. See you guys.